Hey, I'm Chris Jupe, the Glamping guy. Welcome to day 3. A lot has gone on in the last 3 days in figuring out what exactly my notice of violation was. If you've been following along in day 1 and day 2, I got a notice of violation from the county in the mail, and I had to respond to it right away. The violation specifically was occupancy of vehicles, including RVs and campers, is not permitted. Well, I started to do this series because I wanted to talk to other glampers out there. This isn't the first violation or phone call or concern that I've gotten from various entities that are involved with the development of a glamping property. Honestly, I wasn't too worried about it, even though I did find out that I made a big error, which I'll get to in a minute, but I wasn't too worried that something couldn't be done. That's what I hope glamping operators bring home from this series of videos. Ultimately, glamping makes a lot of people happy, and they come to your private property. You are able to be the hospitable people that you are, and it's wonderful. So to me, I always thought this is worth figuring out instead of packing up and giving up. That's the reason for this whole series in the first place. But anyway, let me tell you what's transpired over the last few days. We started this drama out by sharing with you pretty much what my lawyer told me to do. Don't be angry, don't be accusatory, and don't lose hope. There's probably some opportunity in this trial to figure out along the way. Instead, he told me, do the research. We will come up with a game plan and then ultimately becoming compliant. And that's really where I'm at right now. So let me explain to you what exactly the violation was, what bigger issue transpired from that, and how I'm moving forward. That will probably take a couple more weeks, and everything should be resolved. First of all, the violation had to do with an RV that I picked up. It's a long story, but I got a great deal on an RV. It looks like a tiny home, but it's actually a registered RV. And I inquired of the county if I could swap out one of my tents that are on my special use site development plan with this RV. Functionally, I didn't think there was going to be much of a problem because it's the same sewage, it's the same electricity, it's the same everything that a premium tent would provide. But this one would just be this nice RV that I got a really good deal on. The county told me that would be okay, go ahead and put it into the site development plan. Fast forward a month and a half, a neighbor complained that a tent was being swapped out with an RV. A new enforcement officer who didn't know the background of my property as well as didn't know the history of this particular neighbor went ahead and issued the notice of violation, pretty much telling me you got to get rid of the RV or go all the way back to the beginning of your special use and reapply. Going back to the beginning of my special use is just not on the table for me. However, I would get rid of the RV if this became an issue. But I referred back to the March discussion and say, but it is written into the site development plan. That made my project manager go back and say, no, Chris, you didn't go ahead and you didn't start this site development plan. You just got all the information in, and there's a few review questions to cover, but you still have to submit that. That's where I'm at right now, is resubmitted or actually submitting it for the first time, thinking to myself, this was done in December, but it really wasn't. So here we are at the end of April. I've got a few review questions to handle with the county. I'm having to get a couple of drafters involved, do some modifications to our plan, and then press submit and get that into the county. The county's fine with that. Actually, their original sternness about how I was developing without permission really dialed down once I explained that I really didn't understand this process. They actually apologized. I know it's confusing. Chris, you're a new developer, and I am a new developer. This is my first glamping property. I have a second glamping property that's been put on the back burner now. So I have a second property that's being developed in the special use area, and now I'm putting that aside, getting this site development done. We'll bring the Monument Glamping 2 in later, once Monument Glamping 1 is fully stabilized and moving forward. So much ado without nothing. I mean, I was very, very anxious a couple of days ago. I felt that this was all going to fall apart and everything was going to be destroyed. And recognize, I actually have the health department out in my yard right now inspecting my $40,000 septic tank. I really have a lot on the line. Feeling like it's all going to fall apart is a daunting feeling. And that made me think of other glamping operators and like perhaps you. I would think why even go into this if this is the stakes, if this is what's on the line? I say go ahead and do it. Make sure you follow the guidelines and get your properties up to code. In fact, one note on that, the reason I'm so quickly able to go to the site development is because I really have all the stuff done. All it's going to take is a couple of tweaks, and boom, I press submit, and now I'm in site development and everything's going to be okay. So all of this was coming to a head a few days ago. Now I feel much better. Things will go swimmingly well. And this is most important, the county's on my side. They just want me to follow the code, and I am following the code. Granted, there was a blunder, and honestly, I feel stupid that I did not get that finished in December. But thankfully, at the end of the conversations I had, that started sternly, but at the end of the conversations I had with the county, they're telling me they're here to help, and they're let me know if you have any questions, and there's a dialogue that is healthy and will turn out okay. I hope that's encouraging to you for the glamping operation that you have at your property. Hey, if you have any questions, go ahead to my website. I have a contact page that actually you can sign up to have a personal conversation with me. I love it. I'm in research mode right now as far as being this glamping guy. I'm absolutely enjoying myself and getting to know glamping operators from around the country. Well, I'm Chris Jupe, the glamping guy, and I will follow up with this to tell you how it all works out, especially with the site development. But I'll see you in the coming months as we develop Monument Glamping and help you in your glamping operation.